On October 6, 2023, I released my highly anticipated Resurgence multi-production suite, and I was able to make over $1,000 of profit in only the first 24 hours after its release. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. I'm going to be breaking everything down into the 5 key pillars that went into one of my most successful sample pack launches. Every single one of these pillars is absolutely jam-packed with information that's going to help you increase your revenue as a producer. There's no fluff, there's no BS at all. So make sure you grab a pen and paper and stick around until the end of the video. But without further ado, let's get into it. Starting off with pillar 1, have a valuable winning product. If you spend as much time as you possibly can ensuring that the product you're making is the best it can possibly be, it will literally sell itself. Nowadays, you see hundreds, if not thousands of producers making these one-off sample packs where they might throw in 100 recycled drums, or maybe it's just some random loops sitting on their hard drive that they put together and release. And this is 99% of the reason why they aren't making money. I hear all the time about how the market for sample packs is too saturated, and honestly, every time that I hear that, I just laugh, because the truth is 99% of that saturation is the equivalent of landfills in real life. It's trash. If you guys didn't pick up on what I was doing there. And I'd even argue that this is nothing more than an advantage for the skilled and serious producers, because it makes it even easier for you to stand out and actually impress people when there's thousands of random BS recycled Reddit kits plaguing people's computers. So now that I've dispelled that myth, I'm going to show you how to actually make a winning sample pack. The first step is to create a product for one kind of customer. It's way too common that you see producers trying to appeal to every kind of musician ever when they're making their sample packs. And trust me, I get it. The thought process makes sense. The more people you appeal to, the more money you get. But this is basically a fast track to making a muddied down, diluted product that doesn't speak to anyone. And that's exactly what we want to avoid. For the Resurgence pack, I chose to speak to one kind of producer, an underground trap producer. And that right there set me up for success with the rest of the steps in this video, which moves us on to step 2, doing more. A majority of producers are to make the run-of-the-mill Zay and Spins 808 kits that nobody wants anymore. So this is where you have the opportunity to come in and make something bigger and better. The Resurgence sample pack was more than just a couple drum sounds that I threw together. It was a multi-production suite. It had a full drum kit, drum loops, perk loops, a full loop kit, effect banks for Portal, Shaper Box, and Thermal, transition effects and risers, and anything else that I could think of to fit in the product. The goal for this pack was to make it the one and only all-encompassing sample pack for the genre I was creating in. I wanted people to buy this product and never need another underground trap drum kit ever again. And I tried as hard as I could to get as close to that specific goal. And the way that you achieve this goal is a lot simpler than you think. You just need to use the value equation. Increase your customer's dream outcome and perceived likelihood of achievement, and decrease the time delay and effort. That's really all a good sample pack boils down to. The reason why the generic recycled sound kits don't do as well is because it takes a ton of time and effort for producers to actually make them sound good. And there's really no dream outcome or guarantee that you're going to make fire beats anyways. Every folder that I put into my Resurgence sample pack was specifically designed so that anyone who bought the pack could guarantee that they can make crazy underground trap beats. The effects, the loops, the one-shots, I put it all in there so that there was no way you couldn't make a fire beat. And that right there is what makes a winning sample pack. Pillar 2, do what already works. Online business owners, especially creative ones like producers, are plagued by shiny object syndrome. It feels like everywhere that you go online, you're constantly being told that you have to find the next big thing. Whether it's the next best product or the most popular music genre or anything in between, it's something that you just can't escape hearing. And I'm here to tell you, don't listen to that. The reason why I had such a successful 24-hour launch with my Resurgence production suite is because I did not listen to this advice. At the time, I was really well known for my underground trap videos and drum kits, and even though I easily could have tried to make a brand new sample pack or genre that nobody's ever created before, I chose to stick with what works. People knew me for underground trap beats, so I'm gonna make an underground trap sample pack. Don't try to veer off in a new direction, don't try to find the next up and coming sound, and don't try to chase where the money is. The only thing that's gonna come of that is that you'll be starting something new over and over and over and over again, and never giving yourself or your products the opportunity to establish themselves, which is where the real money comes from. If there's one piece of simple advice from this video that you can implement without almost any effort, it's this one. Big money and long-term success comes from long-term dedication and effort. So figure out what you're good at, figure out what your audience likes, and just stick with that. that. Pillar 3, use your touch points. Most producers greatly underestimate just how much you can actually promote a product. I remember when I was first coming up as a producer, I genuinely believed there was such thing as too much promotion, and trust me, there is not. If you're worried about being spammy or coming off salesy, take that mindset, throw it out the window. I can assure you this just isn't a thing, and we as a collective greatly overestimate just how small we are in the grand scheme of things. So never, ever, ever think that less is more when it comes to promotion. I took this guiding principle into my Resurgence sample pack release and made sure that I used as many touch points as I could to promote it. For anyone who doesn't know, a touch point is defined as any interaction a potential customer has with a brand, product, or service. So what this means for you is to take your pack and get it out there everywhere. Don't rely on just YouTube videos. Don't rely on just Instagram Reels. Use every option that you have in your toolbox. During the promotion period for my Resurgence pack, I was posting daily on my Instagram story, daily on my Instagram channel group. I was posting daily on the YouTube community tab. I made multiple long form YouTube videos, and then I made a series of short form content promotion that I posted on both YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels. Now you're probably like, that's a lot. It doesn't end there. On top of all of that, I also used email marketing to reach out to and directly communicate with the people who signed up for the waitlist for my sample pack release, as well as building hype for my general subscribers list on my email to try to funnel them into the waitlist as well. And if I'm going to be honest, I probably could have locked in even harder and used even more touch points like direct message automation with ManyChat or posting content to TikTok. Who knows, man? Maybe I could have gone to like LinkedIn or some shit. But basically, to summarize this core pillar, just remember that you are much, much smaller than you think you are in the grand scheme of things, and to promote your product successfully, make sure that people can find it everywhere. Being present online is about putting out reminders for your audience, not promotion. It's easy to think that your posts are just hitting the same eyes over and over again, but the reality is if you want to reach as many people as possible, that involves so much more promotion than you really think. If you're liking this video so far and you want to master what it means to create winning sample packs, creating an evergreen ecosystem that literally pays you to be you as a musician, let me tell you about Music Marketing Mastery. It's a private community where I've condensed my over 5 years of music making e-commerce knowledge into hours of start to finish content that teaches you exactly how to make a living by making music you love. Inside, I cover product creation, storefront setup, email marketing, sales ecosystems, content creation, and so much more. On top of that, you get access to a community of other like-minded producers and weekly live calls where you could sit down with me and ask me any questions you want to help you on your producer journey. This is honestly my craziest offer to date. It's the same methods that I taught to A Shark, who was able to go from $300 a month to over $5,000 a month selling sample packs, which allowed him to move out of his parents' house and into an apartment in Atlanta, Georgia. And it's the same methods that I taught to Singer Beats, who increased his sales by over 140% and grew his following to over 20,000 subscribers on YouTube just with the advice that I taught him. And now I'm letting you have it. Now, because this is such valuable information, I'm only currently letting in 5 producers to the community. I don't want the community to become watered down, and I only want serious producers who are going to take the knowledge that I've put together and apply it. So if you think you might be a good fit, go ahead and click the first link in the description to apply now, and let's get back to the video. Pillar 4, whisper, talk, shout. There is a systemized approach to promoting your sample packs, and that is the whisper, talk, shout method. Now, to explain this as best as I can, I'm going to use movie promotion as an analogy. I think we all understand or have experienced the whisper, talk, shout strategy in the context of a huge movie promotion. Around a year before a big movie drops, they start teasing it with little whispers, usually with just a short trailer or maybe something like a poster or teaser art. Once you get closer to the movie's release date, you start to see more things: posters, full-length trailers, cast interviews, and everything in between. And by the time the movie is about to release, you just can't stop hearing about it. Every form of promotion is drastically ramped up for the last few days or weeks leading up to the release of a movie. And this is exactly what whisper, talk, shout is. It's the concept of progressively ramping up promotion by strategically using 3 different phases that all serve their own purpose. The first phase is the whisper phase. Now I'm going to start explaining things in the context of sample packs. Obviously, we are not movie makers, so don't think that you have to start the whisper phase like a year or 2 before you release your sample pack. That is super crazy, and we do not have that much time to waste. But what you do want to do is figure out a general idea of when you want to release your product and start your whisper phase around 1 to 3 months before that, or maybe 6 months if your product is huge huge and valuable and you already have an established audience. The whisper phase is all about creating mystery and piquing curiosity. You don't really want to directly say anything. It's really about teasing things in a way that makes people want to know more. So for a sample pack, that could be as simple as posting random Instagram stories or YouTube community posts alluding to a future release. Maybe it's just a snippet of a folder on your computer, or maybe it's just a snippet of some loops or samples in the pack with a caption that says more soon. Anything that you could think of that will make your viewers curious. After that comes the talk phase, and this is where you put everything on the table. During the talk phase, you want to make it your priority to educate your audience on exactly what your product is and why they should want it. Cook up a bunch of beats with your pack, put out a free demo for people to try and review, and basically just highlight all the reasons why it's dope. The talk phase can take place around 2 to 4 weeks before the official launch of your pack. It doesn't have to be exact, and it's going to depend on the size and value of your pack, but you want it to be closer to your release. And lastly, we have the shout phase. This is where we go all out, ramping up our promotion to the max. If you're talking about and promoting your sample pack maybe a few times a week, maybe every other day, for the shout phase, you want to boost it up all the way to multiple times a day. Get your promotion everywhere. Make sure that everyone who follows you knows the release date and is ready to buy it ASAP. And once your product is out, you'll have successfully completed the whisper, talk, shout strategy. This is exactly how I promoted my Resurgence sample pack, and if I'm going to be honest, I was super sloppy in my approach. I did not effectively execute any of these phases. I tried, but I messed up a lot along the way, and it was super messy. I even ended up delaying the official launch of the sample pack, and I still ended up making over $1,000 the first day it released. So if that doesn't speak volumes to how effective this strategy is, I don't know what is. Really quick bonus tip, once you announce something, it's set in stone. I am the biggest offender when it comes to procrastination, so much so that I'll make an official release for something and still somehow manage to push it off a few days or more. And that drastically impacts trust from your audience and initial profits, so do not make this mistake. Know your limits, don't push yourself. You're much better off taking longer with an accurate release date than you are pushing yourself and delaying things last minute. Moving on to our last pillar, pillar 5, content that sells. If you successfully created a winning product and built hype around it, but you have poor content to showcase its value, you're going to see no results for all of your hard work. To understand how to make content that sells, we have to reverse engineer the game. Long-term content is king. Getting somebody to watch a 10 to 20 plus minute long video is much more effective than somebody watching a 30 to 60 second long video. And the thing is, long-term content platforms like YouTube are not what you think it is. Instead of viewing it as social media, view it as a point and click platform. Because of the nature of this system, where people first see a thumbnail, then a title, and then they watch the video, we have to work in this reverse order. Good content that sells starts off with a solid thumbnail, so here is my thumbnail rulebook. Pick one character subject, pick one curiosity building tagline, and pick 1 to 3 supporting subjects. Producers tend to overcrowd their thumbnails, but simplicity is key. The idea of both your thumbnail and your title is to stand out and drive curiosity, which is what makes somebody want to click on your video. Here is an example of what I would call a bad thumbnail. It's cluttered, you don't know where to put your focus, and it's hard to see if it isn't full-sized. And here is a better version. Simplified, large, bold, and readable, and it drives curiosity with its tagline. Once you have a solid thumbnail, you want to move on to the title. There are 2 rules that I follow for my titles. 1, do not repeat your thumbnail in the title, and vice versa, do not repeat your title in the thumbnail. And 2, continue to build curiosity. So something like a how-to title is cool. There's nothing inherently wrong with them, but it's just boring. Instead, continue to move forward with your titles with the same curiosity building strategy. Make them feel premium by framing them in a different light. For example, this how to make shoegaze beats video probably wouldn't have done as well on my channel if I just titled it that. So instead, I titled it The Genius of Shoegaze Production. And then in parentheses, I put how to make shoegaze beats. My favorite example of a producer who frames his videos perfectly is Navi D. He really takes these simple how-to tutorial videos and transforms them into these unique, enticing packages that just make you want to click and find out what it's about. But once you've secured the click, you can't drop the bag. You need to be able to make a video that sells your product. And there's a simple way to do this. Reveal a problem and position your product as the solution. For other niches, this can be pretty hard to do, but as producers, we're super blessed because making sample packs means we can literally film a cook-up video with our sample pack and it automatically frames our product as the solution. I see way too many producers trying to overcomplicate this process. You might be sitting here right now like, is that it? And yeah, that's literally it. 9 times out of 10, a producer cookup video is going to involve 20 random plugins and a bunch of sample packs that have nothing to do with you or what you've created. So all it takes is making one simple shift to primarily showcasing the product that you've made that you want to promote, and you've cracked the code. Now, the same concept applies to short form content on platforms like YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok, but the only difference for these platforms is that you don't have to worry about the thumbnail or title because the platform's algorithms show you the content on its own. This specific strategy to create content that sells, not content for views or subs or anything else, was a pivotal pillar in my successful sample pack launch, and it's what I attribute most of my financial success from in the long term. If I hadn't done it this way, it's pretty likely that I would have spent all this time and energy making a super dope sample pack and building up a bunch of hype just for it to fall flat on its face once it released. So if you're looking to drive more sales during or after a sample pack release, this is exactly what you have to do. So yeah, that's the 5 guiding principles that I followed during my sample pack release that led me to making over $1,000 in the first 24 hours. Before we end this video off, I really just want to drive home how possible this really is. I think as producers and creatives, we often allow ourselves to fall into analysis paralysis, thinking that we need some crazy information that only the most elite producers have. But really, all it takes is a little bit of business knowledge and a willingness to put in the work to get your stuff out there. Just as another reminder, I'm accepting 5 producers into my private community right now. So if you're a serious producer who wants to join and change their life, go ahead and click the first link in the description and fill out an application today. Peace. If you guys like this video and you want to watch another one where I break down how the millionaire producer Kavi makes over $40,000 a month, go ahead and click this video right here.